All right. Welcome to the show, Michael and Kevin, the Bacon Brothers. Guys, thanks so much for the time today.
Pleasure.
Thank
My pleasure.
you.
So, the fun thing is, we get to do research for these interviews. You guys, your family's a fabric of Philadelphia. What's it like growing up with your dad being known as the father of modern Philadelphia? Michael, what's the city mean to you guys?
Well, first of all, we grew up in Philadelphia. We spent our entire childhood. So it's very, very formative. And I've noticed recently, as I'm getting older, my affections have increased for that final city. But one thing that's interesting, you mentioned our dad. Philadelphia is the one place where I am Ed Bacon's son and not Kevin Bacon's brother. So it, it's amazing when our father was alive, you'd walk down the street with him. People would just come constantly, Ed, oh, you're so wonderful. I love what you did for the city. So, yeah, I also have a house out in Chester County. So I get into Philadelphia a lot more. And, the older, like I said, the older I get, the more I like it. Love it.
You know, not only are you guys a fabric of Philadelphia, but even some of your songs and the name of one of your albums is Philadelphia based. How did you come up with the name Philadelphia Chickens? What was the inspiration for that?
We didn't even write that song. That's what's interesting. That was a song that was written by Sandy Boynton and her writing partner, his name escapes me, Michael something, and she was doing one of her children's books, and I think it's been quite a long time. In the past, there's was some kind of charitable component, and I remember when I listened to the song Philadelphia Chickens. I mean, I thought it was a funny title, but I also thought this song is like a big band swing kind of thing. There's no way that this is going to be a kid's song like that. And uh, to my utter disappointment, it still remains like the number one Bacon Brothers song on
That's
Spotify.
what
I'm like, this is like, I really don't want these kids songs to be it's, I don't know, you pour your heart for years into trying to make, some music that, actually means something to you. And we just can't get past the Philadelphia Chickens.
well, you can with some of us because one of my favorites is Old Guitars. And when you hear that song, you think of all the people that are an inspiration, the songs that are inspiration. How did you guys come up with that one?
I don't know. That was one of mine. It was. I think I was trying to see how many iconic rock musicians and songs I could cramp into one tune. I think it was 43 references or something like that. And yeah, it's funny. We still do it live every once in a while, although it was off of our first record, wasn't it, Mike? I think it was.
Yeah, that was, I believe, our very, very first single.
Yeah, first single. Yeah. Um, you know, uh, it taxes my memory to try to remember all those words.
Michael, you're the one who followed the musical path first while Kevin was acting. You're the composer. You were playing in bands before the Bacon Brothers. You also write music for film and TVs. Tell us about your journey through the field to get to where you are with the band.
Well, I started out as a singer-songwriter at a pretty young age. Learned how to play all the fretted instruments, folk instruments, and I also played the cello and later the oboe. So I had a very rich kind of background in music. And when I got to college, I was in a cover band that did uh, English invasion kinds of things, mostly Stones, Beatles, that sort of thing. And so then I was in it very early in Philadelphia. I think I was 19. I joined a group called Good News, which was myself and my partner Larry Gold, who ended up being a real force in a lot of hip hop and R&B as a string arranger, and had a studio in Philadelphia for many years. And then that group broke up. I got married and I moved to Nashville, and I became a staff writer at Combine Music, which is a legendary publishing company down here. And I signed with Monument Records, had two records out with that, and moved back up east and put my guitars and my PA system in a little red rabbit and drove right into the disco era. And at that time, um, my wife got pregnant, and it was like all of a sudden it was a light bulb went off. Oh, you mean I have to actually provide? So we moved to New York in hopes of I would be a jingle singer and writer when that was exploding at that time. And the work that came to me was film scoring. And it's, there are very few people in the world that get to absolutely choose exactly what they want to do and have someone pay them for it. So the film scoring kind of came in, and it turned out I was good at it, and I got more work and gave my rock and roll superstar dream up. And then I think it was 94, my brother and I just sort of on a serendipitous moment decided to put the band together and for one gig, and we did. And all of a sudden, as it started rolling forward, my dream came back. I haven't gotten there yet, but the only hit I've ever had is Philadelphia Chickens, but I'm hoping that we can eclipse that at some point or other, though I do love it.
Comes back to Philadelphia Chickens.
Yeah. And, parents will come up and they'll say, oh, Philadelphia Chickens, are kind of going, their eyes are kind of rolled because they probably heard it 7,000 times when their kids were growing up. So
how much fun is it for you guys to perform together as brothers, as people who grew up together?
The performing is the fun, I think that the other stuff is the thing that you get tired of, the road, travel, especially, these days it's very, very challenging trying to get someplace and stay healthy enough to get to the next place. That's a real a challenge. But we almost always love the show, when we finally make it and we're finally standing, in the wings and ready to go on. It's a lot of fun. We're not a band that, stands up there and goes, wow, this is such a bummer for us. Do we have to play for you? We're kind of like the opposite. We like to leave it on the stage.
What's it like when you get to play close to home? We know on August 2nd, you're going to be in Ocean City. People around here are going to be excited. What's it like for you to come home and play in front of the hometown crowd?
Well, we did a club in Ardmore recently, which was really, really great. That's a relatively new club. I think it's called the Ardmore Music Hall. But the Ocean City gig is really fun. We must have done Ocean City 10 times now, and it's on this pier that's literally right into the ocean. And you get on stage and you look out at the Atlantic Ocean, and it's Ocean City is really a fun kind of warm town. And
throwback.
Yeah, it really is. And
you got to cross the boardwalk walk to get into the venue. The funny thing about the venue also is that the band has this amazing view of the ocean, but the audience only has the view of the band. But it's
a detriment.
Yeah. But I know it's not Philly, but a lot of New Jersey is Philly adjacent. Our motto is just that we've never had a bad gig in New Jersey.
Tell us about your style of music. You have your 11th release out, Erato, but your style is sort of a blend of rock and soul and country. I've seen Farasco. Where does that come from? And what's the process of, it seems like you guys like songwriting as much as you like performing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Our first record, we decided to a brilliant promotional technique and make it an unpronounceable word. And
did Jason pronounce it wrong?
Did I do it okay?
Orosoko, but how would you know?
Okay, I tried.
Close.
So it means it's a word. Kevin is a very clever man, and so he took folk rock, soul, country, made it, switched it into a word for Orosoko. But it really is very accurate because, first of all, we're the two writers in the band. I have a different musical experience. I'm 9 years older, and it's when you have the two writers and then the legacy of how many years I've been in the business. I had made my first record in 1969, so I was pre any technology, digital technology. So my career has gone through all of those things with the adjunct of the film scoring on the side. But I think the thing that Kevin and I feel really strongly about is we are above all songwriters. And we didn't sit down and say, let's start a band that has a certain sound, glam rock or hip hop or classic.
Disco.
Disco. Yeah, exactly. So So what we go is we write a song, and if we think if our wives approve the song and say, yes, you can play that, we would let the song drive the arrangement. So sometimes we have things where I'm playing acoustic guitar and somebody's playing mandolin, Kevin's playing harmonica, and it's very, very intimate. And then we have another song that Kevin wrote, which is a great song called, and has to do with Philadelphia as well. It's called British Invasion. And that's pretty hard rock. So it's everything in between, and it's whatever we feel the best environment for the song that we wrote to put it across to an audience and have them understand it and hopefully like it.
What's the process for when you're writing these songs? Do you sit in a room together and write them, and you go back and forth, and is it fun?
We don't write that much together. We kind of started out that way, but I don't know. We just have, basically Mike can write in demo in his studio, and I can do the same. So we tend to write things separately, then kind of share them with each other and start to get input. A lot of times the input will be in an arrangement or in vocals or a vibe or nothing at all. Sometimes we just go down, done. That's great. We have recently done a little bit more writing with other people, which are actual writing sessions. And those are really interesting because you can imagine that's kind of an awkward thing, especially if you don't know somebody. Everybody that we've written with, we didn't know at all. Like, that didn't know anything. I mean, we could get links to their other music and stuff like that, but we didn't know anything about them personally. So you just kind of go into this room and you sit down and you just kind of start shooting the breeze and try to come up with something. And that's a pretty potentially awkward kind of situation, but it's really cool when you actually walk away and you go, wow, we got a song. They're not always great songs necessarily, but there is a song there. And that's kind of a nice, we've been enjoying that.
Yeah, we wrote a song with Desmond Child, who is, as you guys know, he's like a giant of the giants. And as a pure songwriter, there aren't too many people who are in his category. And we had a writing session arranged with him, and we spent 2 days in his apartment in New York and cranked out a song which became our first single, In Memory of When I Cared. So that's a really different way of songwriting. I mean, we are what I describe as confessional. We go, oh, today I twisted my ankle. And then you write the song, oh, the twisted ankle day. It becomes a personal thing.
Hold that title, bro. Hold on to that title.
I got it. So like with Desmond,
Jeff's a copyright and trademark attorney. We're not doing the show, so if you need any help with that title, he'll lock
all right.
Thanks, Jason.
Then he should know that. I don't think you can copyright a title, can you?
That's why he's the attorney, and I'm the one who just plays something on the radio. Don't worry about it.
So we had an interesting session the day before yesterday. We're in Nashville. I'm in Nashville. We just played a gig down here at City Winery, and we had a writing session with a married couple, and neither of whom we knew. And you meet them and they're going, well, I don't know, what are these guys? What's the vibe? And everybody's kind of careful. Is everybody comfortable? Is everybody feel comfortable to contribute? And it turned out to be really good. And we cranked out a song in about 3 hours. And Brett sent us a demo that night at 11 o'clock. And that song is now, we're starting to crank it out, figure out how to arrange. So that's been really fun and very different for us.
So I did want to ask, when we have athletes and artists on, we like to talk about how they use their platform to give back to the community. Kevin, I understand you didn't initially like the 6 Degrees thing that they did, but you've sort of embraced it and raised $5 million with it to help and give back to everything from community development, education, health and arts. Can you talk about sort of coming around to it, why you didn't like it, but then how you've been able to utilize it to galvanize and help people?
Well, it was just really, I thought that it was a joke at my expense, and it was, I've always been kind of fundamentally resistant of things that would I mean, you'd be hard. I mean, you'd be surprised to hear this, but that would put me sort of into pop culture in a way. You know, I had a very, very lofty ideal about just being an actor for the sake of the craft of acting, and not to be a personality. And when I became a famous actor, all of a sudden there was all this other, BS that I just wasn't really into, and so 6 Degrees, I kind of felt like I was starting to now be, a respected actor, and all of a sudden this kind of thing came along. It was just really about pop culture, and it kind of bummed me out. But that being said, I just kind of decided to embrace it, and I was looking at other, celebrities who had done some positive work, of a charitable nature, and I was trying to think what I could be branded in the same way that Paul Newman was with tomato sauce and popcorn, and so we started to put this thing together, and we actually have something that we're very excited about, and I'll just tease it, but it's 100% Philly based. And so it's going to be a song and a little behind the scenes video, and a video involves a lot of Philadelphia, not only people from entertainment but also from sports. It's going to hopefully raise some money and some awareness for a really cool organization called Rock to the Future, which is a Philly based organization where they put instruments and music lessons and recording opportunities into the hands of underserved youth in Philly. So that'll be that's a 6 Degrees effort.
Before we let you go, I know Jason has a sports question for you, but before we let you go, if you had to pick, I know you're evolving, I know you're going to continue to make music for years to come, but if you had to choose, each of you, what song best defines you that you've done, which would it be?
Well, I'll start with that. It's the song I wrote last year, maybe the year before. It's called The Way We Love. And it's just it's one of those times where, well, it's maybe the only time where I go, I just really captured like 50-year relationship in a 3-minute song. And I'm very proud of that. And, I think people respond to it, and it's really fun to sing. And I don't know, that's it. The Way We Love.
Just wanted to add.
Wait, Kevin, what's yours?
Yeah, I mean, I think The Way We Love is a really good example of us. I don't know. Let's go with that one.
There you go, Jeff. You put him on the spot. I did want to ask before you go, we are a sports show. Kevin, I saw you were more of a street sports, handball, football guy growing up until you got into basketball. But you were tweeting when the Eagles were on their Super Bowl run, and I was losing my mind in my living room. What's sports mean to you guys?
Well, I mean, I think I feel very, very happy for the city of Philadelphia whenever a Philadelphia team is doing well. It's just, I don't know, it means so much to people, and you see what that was like with the Eagles. Maybe it went a little too far, but maybe the joy went a little too far.
Jeff's the Giants fan on the show. We would never go too far.
We never go too far, of course. Yeah, but that's part of the Philly, the inexplicable Philly sports thing. So yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
Michael, any soundtracks ever for sports you've been able to do?
Oh yeah, I've done some stuff for ESPN. What other things? But one thing is kind of interesting. Kevin's mentioned the Eagles. Before the Eagles won the Super Bowl, there was the controversy about the building higher than William Penn. Some people call it William Penn's curse. Some people call it the Ed Bacon curse, because when that building went taller than William Penn's hat, our father was devastated.
Really?
Oh yeah, he lost his mind. Yeah,
Willard Rouse was just the pariah of the century, and I almost feel like somehow my father's curse wasn't quite strong enough because the Eagles came through, but boy, he tried.
He wasn't able to stop it for us.
Even all that. The other thing I was going to ask you guys is, do you follow the Tour de France at all?
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah,
because that's my, I mean, July, I'm a basket case. I used to race bicycles, so I know the pain in the faces and identify. And I just love just the craziness that they have. That an hour ahead of it, they have all these crazy cards and they throw things out at the fans, and there's no really sporting event like
Have
it.
you been there to see it in person?
Oh, that's on my bucket list.
Mike, if you had stuck with it, you might have been the first Philadelphian to win the Tour de France.
There's
Yeah.
Look, Jeff's trying to pick up pickleball, so
There is still time.
guys,
Don't give up your dreams.
we cannot thank you enough for the time. If our listeners want to get more information, want to get tickets for the upcoming shows, go to baconbros.com. Best of luck with the new EP. Best of luck with everything going on, and you guys take care of yourself.
Thanks a lot, you guys. You were great. It's really been fun.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks so much, guys.